years later than I did, I might not have even ever been cast in anything. Because now there's so many people trying to get into it. It's become so mainstream, and so many more fans of it, and so it's a lot harder. I'm sorry to say. I mean, that's probably not the greatest news, but it's called the truth. So I would be remiss not to tell you the truth. And the truth is that when I started, all of the voice actors that I know, and most of them even that you know by name, started off as actors, just actors. They acted in film, they acted in television, they acted on stage, they performed. That was what they did. A lot of them even have degrees in like theater and stuff. And then somebody offered them the opportunity to audition for an animated production. So all they basically did was acting in front of a microphone. That's basically what it is. So my first suggestion to you, if you're interested in getting into voice acting, is acting. Look for any opportunity to develop your skills as an actor. Anywhere and everywhere you can. Look for ways to develop your abilities in performing and acting. And I think I talked about this in one of the other panels too. Music, singing, is a very helpful part of voice acting. A lot of voice actors, not all of them, but a lot of them also are singers or musicians. And if you think about it, it makes sense. Because if you sing a lot, you hear your voice, and you try to control your voice. You try to control the pitch. You try to control the nuance. You know? Do you want to add vibrato? Or do you want it to be kind of growly? Things like singing help you become more familiar with your voice and what you can make it do. Like when you see a character on television and you try to imitate the character. You are working with your voice to try to make it sound a certain way, or a certain kind of delivery, like a certain kind of rhythm to a voice. There are so many different little subtleties, and anything you can do to develop those skills will help you as a voice actor. The second thing is you kind of have to be where the work is. You know, I mean, there are only so many places where voice acting work is done, and we need to distinguish between voice acting and voiceover. Voiceover is like commercial work, like announcer stuff, right? If you're suffering from hemorrhoids, call 1-800-226, right? That's voiceover, right? And here's the good news. There are voiceover opportunities almost everywhere. Because if you think about it, any city of almost any size has businesses. And businesses need to advertise to get customers. So there are opportunities in almost every city of any size for voiceover. But voice acting is more, right, is more drama-driven, it's more story-driven, it's more character-driven. And there are only a handful of places that you can do that. Houston, as luck would have it, for you. Dallas, Los Angeles, New York. Up in Canada, there are a couple of cities in Canada that do it. And that's the lion's share of it. That's most of the studios are in those markets. So you kind of have to be where the work is. And the third thing is, and we mentioned this, I think it might have been Friday's panel. I never used to tell people this. I used to tell them there's only two things: acting experience and location. But I added a third one several years ago because I think it's probably, maybe even the most important. And that is determination. If you get discouraged easily, it's not for you. Because, I mean, I've done 400 plus animated series of video games, but you know how many have I auditioned for? Probably twice that many. You don't get cast all the time. In fact, you don't get cast more than you do get cast. So, if you're the kind of person that gets like, oh, I tried, and I didn't get cast, poop, and I'm not doing that anymore, stupid, it's discouraging. Well, then you probably won't get many opportunities if you give up easily. I said this on Friday too, and I'm going to say it again because I think it's very, very relevant. Most of the singers, actors that you see on television and hear on the radio, they're not necessarily the best actors in the world or the best singers in the world. They're just people that wouldn't give up. They're just people that kept pushing and pushing. They took every opportunity they got, big or small. And I mean, there are so many stories of singers and filmmakers who could not get a break. I mean, people that have sung #1 hit songs, and they went and tried to get involved and tried to get a record label, and the record label told them they had no talent. I told them, no, we're not interested, you're no good. Well, I guess the record label was wrong, weren't they? Or this person just kept going. They didn't take that discouragement and go, ugh, I'll never, somebody told me I wasn't any good, right? You can't listen to that stuff. If you really want something, you got to push for it. And you can't let somebody discourage you and take it away from you. I was just reminded of that scene in Back to the Future. Remember his dad? Remember his dad wrote stories? And Marty was like, I didn't know you did anything creative. Remember this? And he's like, well, why don't you, let me read it. Remember this? He goes, let me see it. And his dad goes, oh, no. What if people didn't like it? What if they said I was no good? I just don't think I can handle that kind of rejection. Remember? And then Marty goes, if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything. One word of suggestion, of encouragement. Remember when he goes back to the present day and they live in a nice home and his dad's wealthy and they're all famous, like nice clothing and oh, your new book arrived. Remember, and Biff is now cleaning his car because of that one bit of encouragement. So don't get discouraged. If it's something you have a passion for, go for it. And don't let anybody else take that away from you. If you decide to let it go, that's fine. It's your call. But don't let anyone else